This is a special presentation from Warren County Report. Race for Town Hall 2010. Meet the candidates for mayor. Incumbent Mayor Eugene Tewalt.
Well, I think the biggest job the mayor has is PR with the community. I think the mayor needs to be out in the community, meeting the public and talking to the public and seeing what the public really wants for the community.
Former Vice Mayor Tim Darr.
As the mayor, you're basically the captain of the team or the team leader, and it's your job to move forward and get the group together.
Both candidates answered tough questions.
Tim, there's been some talk that you might bring a fourth vote to oust Mr. Graham out of office. Is that true? Do you think the town should consider annexation of any part of the North Commercial Corridor to replace that lost revenue?
It's an increasingly divided town council. Should we introduce a cigarette or other luxury tax? What can we do to improve relations with Warren County? Should we consider annexing the North Corridor? And what about all that controversy surrounding town manager Michael Graham? We'll look into these issues and more in the next half hour. Now, from our Middle of Maine studios in downtown Front Royal, here's Warren County Report's Roger Bianchini.
Front Royal Mayor Eugene Tewalt, thanks for being here with us today.
It's good to be with you today.
I have a few questions for you. With a recent past experience, this should be a good one. What is the most important role of a mayor in a system that does not allow him to vote other than to break ties?
Well, I think the biggest job the mayor has is PR with the community. I think the mayor needs to be out in the community, meeting the public and talking to the public and seeing what the public really wants for the community. Breaking ties is something that I really don't care to do because usually it's such a controversial issue. I just leave not to break ties in some cases.
You didn't have to recently.
That's true. That's true.
With that abstention. You've been mayor now for 2 years. How do you rate the experience versus being a councilman?
Well, it's a different thing when it comes to being the mayor. Again, it's more a PR position where, you know, I'm out usually sometimes 2 and 3 times a week cutting ribbons or, you know, meeting people and talking to people in regards to the town and seeing if things are being operated properly. And I meet a lot. I spend as much as 3 and 4 hours a day on an average day with the town manager or something that deals with the town functions. And so I think it's a big difference because when I was on the council, I was pretty much things related to the things that was on the agendas, even though I do take time out to read the agendas and to make sure that everything's okay. But again, I think the biggest thing for today is to making sure that the town is operating functionally properly and dealing primarily with the problems of the town and dealing with the manager.
We have Tim Darr, Front Royal mayoral candidate and former vice mayor. Tim, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Roger.
I have a few questions for you. What is the most important role of a mayor in a system that does not allow him to vote other than to break ties?
I feel that the most important role of the mayor is to facilitate, communicate, and coordinate the council in their efforts. I think it's very important that as the mayor, you're basically the captain of the team or the team leader, and it's your job to move forward and get the group together, make sure everybody gets consistent information, and all the council members are fairly represented throughout the entire council.
And I guess you pretty much answered my next question, was how would you approach that role?
Well, one of the things I would do, Roger, is one of my plans are, if elected, is first to spend some time with the council as a group, away from all the pressing political issues, try to get together, spend some time, feel how we all feel as a group, maybe list some common goals and try to work from there. What happens, as you know as I know from being in political office before, as soon as you get elected, you start making decisions based on things that the previous council had done, and there's decisions that have to be made. Some of those things that aren't so important can be slowed down enough so that the council takes time to list their priorities and make sure that they are all working as a team, and that's going to be one of my first goals if elected.
Dealing with the town, they've had a revenue shortfall this year. In the recent budget debate, a minority viewpoint of people that spoke at the public hearing, both public hearings, and a minority of council was able to hold sway and keep a positive vote on real estate and personal property tax increases to balance the budget. Do you believe, because of the supermajority vote, fourth vote that's required, which is your vote, do you believe that's the way the system was intended to work? And if not, should state and town codes be revisited to alter that supermajority requirement?
No, I don't think we need to change the charter. I think the supermajority is good because this is one of the biggest functions we have in the community as far as the town is the budget. Our budget runs around $35 to $37 million a year, and I think it should be a supermajority that would pass the budget in its entirety. There are times where you get into a position where some people just don't feel comfortable by voting for tax increases or things of that nature, and that's our prerogative. But it becomes a time where tax increases are necessary, and when it comes to that point, I'm sure that the council will vote in the proper manner to add the additional tax on the constituents.
Well, I think it's important that your budget does reflect the majority of the council. So with that being said, yes, I also feel that it was important that I guess that I don't feel that the council at that time went through the budget was real prepared for it at the time, and maybe they didn't realize at the time that they were running so close on the time because of other pressing issues. But in my opinion, it should be the supermajority vote. I think it's a good policy. I think you need to have your majority of your council on board. It was very, I guess, not disheartening, but it was very unique that it panned out the way it panned out this time. And I do agree with the fact that if possibly the member who was elected because of the mayoral race, or the member who was selected, if it would have been a race and was elected, then I do feel that would have been an issue, and there probably would have been no issues with the actual budget. So it's a very unfortunate situation.
In a related question to that, there seems to be several councilmen that are somewhat ideological about tax increases and doing everything you can to avoid them. Is there anything that a mayor can do to ease like ideological impasses on issues like that?
Really, I don't think there is, unless you have a good rapport with all the members of the council and they're all looking out for the best for the community. There's a lot of people that runs for town council that's looking out for special interest groups and or looking out for themselves as far as a personal interest they may have in issues, and that might be one of their platforms that they don't want to raise taxes, and that's a prerogative, and that's the way they usually vote. Now, when it comes to taxes, there comes a time where taxes are necessary, where taxes have to be increased. But my philosophy on taxes is that you raise them a little bit at a time, and instead of hitting the general public with a 3 or 4 or 5 cent increase in 1 year.
None of us like taxes, but we do like to have that snow cleared off the streets when it comes in big doses like we got this winter.
That's correct. I've always been an advocate not to raise taxes if it's not necessary. And so I feel that if tax increases are necessary, even in this downtime, if we want to continue to serve the community the best we can, there's going to become a time where taxes are going to have to be increased, unless the economy comes back to where it's not in the downturn spiral as it is at this time.
How can a mayor ease ideological stances or impasses on issues that are crucial to the town's future, or can he?
I think he can, and I don't know I think with the basic, like I said, it begins with communication. Right now, I don't feel the communication's there. If the communication was there and all the council members felt like they were all being represented and all, treated equally across the board, then I feel that absolutely he could help with that, because, if you communicated with each council member individually, found out where they were, then you would know when you went into the meetings how to guide your meeting or steer your meeting as the mayor to address everyone's issues. And so, yes, I do think it's important, but not just on the budget, but on several other issues as well.